Why doesn't God always send messengers? Why are prophets present at certain times and absent at others? Why is there someone who conveys divine knowledge and rulings at certain times, while at other times we must revert to what was narrated from the previous prophet? Why didn't God send the entire religion with Adam, peace be upon him, from the very beginning? The belief that prophets were dispatched only occasionally is incorrect. The vicegerency of God has always been continuous. In every era, there is a vicegerent of God present, regardless of whether he did or did not announce his call due to the lack of recipients. Sayyid Ahmed al-Hassan talks about the vicegerent of God in his book, Ideology of Islam. He says, "An era is never without a vicegerent when there are people willing to receive the vicegerent. If it were the case that there was no vicegerent in a particular era, one would not be aware of God's religion and his will, and thus would not learn worship or gain knowledge. This would defeat the purpose of creation. It also cannot be the case that an era is without a vicegerent when there is no recipient, because the presence of the vicegerent leaves the deniers of the vicegerency with no excuse." Yet some religious people deny that God appoints a vicegerent continuously. Sayyid Ahmed al-Hassan mentions the necessity of appointing a vicegerent of God. He says, "The necessity of the appointment is acknowledged by anyone who appoints clerics or representatives of religion to enact laws for them, even if they deny it, as they are practically compelled to appoint someone as a representative. After disbelieving in the divine appointment of those who convey God's religion, they had no option but to appoint individuals who enact laws based on their opinions and whims for any issue that is not mentioned in their divine text. This act of theirs is an acknowledgement of the necessity of appointing a vicegerent of God and an admission of the need to convey the true divine knowledge and rulings of God in all situations." Sayyid Ahmed al-Hassan then makes the following conclusion. "I have clarified earlier that the dispatch of a messenger is inevitable in every era because it allows the purpose of creation, which is to know God, to be achieved. Through knowing, the will of the true ruler is accomplished. The one who is dispatched, that is the vicegerent, takes on this task. The dispatch of the messenger or vicegerent establishes the argument and eliminates excuses, even if this vicegerent is inactive and instructed not to communicate the message due to lack of recipients. The purpose of the vicegerent's dispatch is to eliminate any excuse for rejection of the message, which exists in every era. Thus, there is a need to eliminate it, whether there is someone who wants to receive the message or not. Who is the vicegerent, and how can we identify him? If you would like to discover the answers, please stay tuned for the next episode.